Hello everyone, I'm Cloud. Today's content might be a bit complex, but it's the best episode in my Venus series. I'll be using astrology to explain what is the highest level of love represented by Venus. The inspiration for this episode came from a passage by Krishnamurti. In fact, we don't have love. For those interested, you can first check out what he said and think about its meaning. Then come back and continue listening to me. Maybe you'll have a different answer from mine, or maybe I can bring you some inspiration. Here, I'd like to quote something he said at the end. Krishnamurti provided a lot of evidence that humans don't have love. But in the conclusion, he said, if you pose that question without agility, urgency, without potency, then what takes place in the mind? As it will not allow time to come and interfere. Therefore, such a mind has an infinite space both in the mind and in the heart, and so that mind is in that state of love, and in that sense of beauty, in that sense of vast, infinite space, there is creation. When I first heard Krishnamurti's words, I thought about them for a long time, but couldn't understand what he was saying. Interestingly, not long after that, I went to watch a movie. The movie was released in October 2023 and was called Deep Sky. It was about the production process of the James Webb Space Telescope and its impact on improving the Hubble Space Telescope's technology. It also documented scientists capturing footage of deep space for the first time. There was a scene in the movie where a female scientist was being interviewed. As she spoke, she suddenly started crying because she mentioned how deep space had always been there, but we couldn't see it. That scene moved me deeply and made me instantly understand the meaning behind Krishnamurti's words. Now, let's explain what I've come to understand at the highest level of love through astrology. My explanation is based on my understanding of Vedic astrology. If your approach or system of astrology is different from mine, your interpretation might be different. So, what I'm sharing is based on my own understanding and is for reference only. I believe that the highest level of love from Venus is a form of creation. It's a state of creation, an invisible state of creating, something beyond the material realm, a spiritual state. In this state, Venus manifests through the water element. That's why I mentioned in my previous talk about Venus, the highest level of love doesn't exist on the material plane because it doesn't belong to the material realm. If you don't quite understand what I mean by these different planes and states, you can check out my new book this year. It will help you better grasp the concept of planes. When Venus operates on the material plane and expresses love, it manifests through the earth element. For Venus, the water element is of a higher level than the earth element. This is also why Venus is exalted in Pisces and falls in Virgo. Because Pisces represents devotion, which is also a characteristic of the water element. There's a saying, water nourishes all things without competing, which perfectly captures the selfless spirit of water. On the other hand, Virgo is an earth sign, and the quality of earth is based on conditions. So, when we talk about falling in love with someone, it often comes with conditions. For example, it's based on the other person's appearance, personality, the value they bring through companionship, reproductive value, emotional value, whether their views align with ours, financial value, professional abilities, or the help they can provide in our careers, and so on. Therefore, when people are choosing the right partner, they tend to show Virgo's overly critical and perfectionistic side. They may find fault here or there because they are seeking someone who matches their idea of the perfect person. I think you're not attractive enough. I think your personality isn't gentle enough. I think you're not ambitious in your work. I think you're too flirtatious. You're too foolish. We don't have any intellectual connection, and so on. Or it could be, I think you're the perfect person for me. You're so beautiful. You're doing amazing in your career. You're so smart and talented. You're my ideal partner. It's like when you're picking out a pet, you have to consider what kind of animal you want to raise. Let's say I decide to get a cat. Then you ask, what breed of cat? What color cat? Is its face attractive? What about its personality and health? These are all the criteria. So, on a material level, it's impossible to fall in love with someone for no reason. But it's not about whether this is good or bad, it's just the rules of the material world, which is how Venus expresses love on different levels. At the highest level of love on the material plane, the only pure expression is a person's love for the divine. Because, from the beginning, no one knows what God looks like, nor can anyone prove whether God exists or doesn't exist. He never reveals himself. He's like a legend. Even in your most desperate and painful moments, he will not appear before you to help. Yet you still devote yourself to him without hesitation, love him, and trust him. This is the highest level of love on the material plane, and such love only exists for God. Because this is a spiritual love for God, an unconditional love. Now, why do I say that the highest form of love associated with Venus is an unseen state of creation? First, let me explain a concept. In the modern era, the commonly accepted order of the 12 zodiac signs begins with Aries as the first sign. But you will notice that in some ancient astrological texts, Pisces is placed first. This is because Pisces is considered the true start of creation, the real sign of the beginning. True creation is hidden, something you cannot see. The 12th house is also a place that is hidden. So, it's not Aries. Aries represents the beginning of creation, but Aries is the result that has already been reached, or the product that has been received. For example, a high-tech company may be secretly developing artificial intelligence. The process of this secret creation is something the public cannot witness. This process is Pisces. But when artificial intelligence is first made available to the public, when it starts to flourish, that is Aries. If we use the universe to explain it, God's love is like that invisible force of creativity that gave birth to this world. You can't see how God created the world. You only know that you are a result of the universe. So, I believe that creativity itself is an expression of love, and love is what drives our creative energy. That's my conclusion, and I've done my best to express it. I hope everyone understands what I mean, although I find it a bit hard to explain. Let me give a few examples to clarify my point. When someone is in despair, so much that they're considering suicide, even if they have wealth and what seems like a good life, they still lose the will to live. The reason for suicide, no matter the time, is always just one thing. Whether it's a human or a cat or dog, if a living being can no longer feel love, they lose the hope to live. The planet that can bring someone back to life is Venus, as we've explained in previous videos. Maybe it's because you feel your parents don't love you, or you feel abandoned by a lover. Maybe you think no one in this world cares about you, or you can't find anything that brings you joy, nothing that can ignite the creativity within your soul. Naturally, a person would then think of ending things, of leaving. Because when there's not a drop of love or creativity left in one's heart, no amount of wealth, fine food, beauty, or luxurious clothing can satisfy them anymore. So, in other words, to live in this world, to keep going, you must find something from Venus that supports your will to live. Anything represented by Venus, including Taurus, the 2nd house, and Libra, the 7th house, are the things you need to hold on to. When we think about Venus and love, we often overlook the most important thing. We need to love ourselves, instead of always longing for someone else to love us. A person must learn to love themselves, because only when you love yourself can you truly feel the love of the divine and experience creativity. Only then can you overcome any situation life throws at you. Especially when someone you deeply love leaves, many people fall into despair. In extreme cases, some may even harm their body or mind. But when a person in despair can, in their darkest moments, understand this love and connect with the love deep within their soul, they can find a way to live again and cherish their own life. Because this love is something you create yourself. You can't see it because it exists within your soul. It's the creativity of your spirit. When you start trying to love and be kind to yourself, something like tiny cells in your body or spirit become active and begin to heal you. It's almost like giving yourself a shot of comfort, healing yourself. Because only after a person loves themselves do they have the ability to love the things around them. They will love their own body, love the trees at their doorstep, love the stars and the sea, the blue sky and white clouds. From the bottom of their heart, without any reason, they will love the beauty of this world. Naturally, they won't do anything to harm it, nor will they hurt themselves. They also won't give up enjoying the beauty of this world just because they encounter difficulties in life. Although this sounds simple, this is the fundamental reason why a person can remain positive and optimistic, even in extreme hardship, physical disability, or when they have nothing. It's because they have touched God's love. Therefore, they can stay joyful in any difficult situation. With such a mindset, there's no reason not to be happy. Anyone can activate this kind of creativity. Everyone has it. I believe everyone should have the ability to touch the love of God. It's like love on a material level. Think back to the first day or month you fell in love. Didn't the world seem different because of that person? A school that was once boring suddenly becomes interesting just because you can see them. It could be pouring rain outside, but with that person by your side, you think the rain is so romantic. Even drinking a glass of water feels sweet, while for others, it's just ordinary. You can think of this as a lower version of creativity. If you want to maintain this dreamy, soulful state, you need to learn to love yourself instead of seeking love from others. Also, you've probably seen videos online of a stray cat that's on the brink of death. When it's taken to the hospital for rescue, it often has a vacant stare and refuses to eat, looking like it wants to give up on life. But then, after being cared for with love, something amazing happens. The once emaciated cat suddenly transforms, looking completely different as if it's become a whole new cat. So, if a person has enough love, she can share her love and life force with those in need. She can help those who are suffering reconnect with the memory of love. But when a person lacks enough love in their heart, they can't help but feel the urge to take from others. This can even be an instinct for survival. However, love that's taken or love from PA pickup artist tactics is all about fulfilling one's own desires. There are no exceptions, at least I can't think of any. When you encounter someone who takes from you, you definitely start to feel your emotions being slowly eroded and hollowed out because your life force is being drained by them. But true love is about giving life force. Offering unconditional love is a manifestation of an incredibly strong spirit. The first person that comes to mind is Mother Teresa. She selflessly dedicated herself to helping those who suffer from poverty and illness, offering her strong and compassionate heart to the most impoverished and vulnerable people in the world. She brought love and hope to those living in darkness. It is said that some people have seen a certain radiance emanating from Mother Teresa. This reflects her greatness on a spiritual level, a light that only those with a special disposition can perceive. It's a spiritual glow and aura. Of course, figures like Krishna, Jesus, Vishnu, and the Buddha also embody this kind of great love. They do not seek revenge. No matter how you treat them, they will always respond with love. However, it's important to note that we discussed earlier how Jupiter-type people can react. If you offend them, they might destroy you in the most violent way, so be careful not to anger those influenced by Jupiter. The universe has always been secretly creating, nurturing countless forms of life. It's similar to being created in your mother's womb, and we affectionately refer to the universe as the mother of the cosmos. Many saints, masters, and yogis must have experienced this divine love, which allows them to desire nothing in return. This feeling cannot be found on a material level. There's a saying in the Upanishads, "The Holy One is pure love." Although I haven't experienced it myself, I imagine it must feel like an incredibly free and blissful state of being. Although the love of God is something we all long for, many people unfortunately end their lives without ever having the chance to experience it. I hope that one day, everyone can find a way to experience that love easily, because only Venus has the power to bring about resurrection and rebirth. It can save someone who is feeling desperate. If you're currently in a struggling relationship, it's important to think about whether you're in the wrong one. Always remember that when you're in a state of love, you feel the beauty of life, and you live positively. You want to help those who need love the most, people who are struggling, or even animals in need. You shouldn't be with the wrong person who constantly drains your emotional energy, leaving you trapped in a cage of emotions. I hope that after hearing my explanation, everyone can live well and love themselves more. Take good care of your body, eat well, and go to bed early. Once you have enough love for yourself, You can share it with those around you who need help, whether they are people or animals. There's also an important question to address. How do we start loving ourselves? Think back to when you fell in love with someone. You naturally wanted to do good for them, to give them the best, always afraid they might feel slighted. So, when you love yourself, you direct that same care toward yourself, eating good food, wearing nice clothes, treating your body kindly, and living without worries by getting up early and going to bed early. When you face unhappy moments, you comfort yourself. When difficulties arise, you encourage and reassure yourself. Tell yourself, I'm amazing. I can solve this problem, and my tomorrow will definitely be better. Finally, I wrote a passage to express my understanding of love as described by Krishnamurti. Your soul is like an endless sea of stars, where each twinkling star holds a flicker of inspiration. In this vast universe, your thoughts drift like clouds across the sky, light and free, weaving countless wondrous illusions. Your spirit is the flame deep within your being, gently illuminating your world, transforming ordinary moments into poetry and miracles. When darkness envelopes your realm and you feel isolated and alone, look upon the morning dew. It glistens in the sunlight, reflecting infinite possibilities. Each unique thought you harbor is like a blooming lotus, beautiful and mysterious. That's all for today. I hope everyone follows my channel and shares it with those around you. See you in the next episode. Thank you.